"You look sorrowful, sir," she whispered tenderly. What the young girl did next astonished the tycoon. The park bench felt icier than usual that winter evening, even through William Carter's pricey cashmere coat. He sat alone beneath the soft glow of antique streetlights, watching snowflakes swirl in the golden light, like tiny ghosts rejoicing in something he'd lost the ability to feel. At 52, William had all the world claimed necessary for joy. His financial firm garnered esteem. On Wall Street, his penthouse towered over Central Park. His fortune held more digits than most could imagine. Yet here he lingered, feeling emptier than when he'd begun with just ambition and a borrowed suit. The call that afternoon haunted his thoughts. His daughter, Emily, now 25 and settled far away, had rung to share her engagement news. Instead of delight, he'd felt a hollow pang when she paused before saying, "I hope you'll make time to walk me down the aisle, Dad. I know how busy you always are." Those words stung sharper than any corporate foe ever could. The snow fell thicker now, and William pulled his coat tighter, lost in memories of all the recitals he'd skipped, all the bedtime tales he'd put off for tomorrow, all the tomorrows that had somehow turned into yesterdays while he forged his empire. "You look sorrowful, sir." The voice was so gentle, so surprising, that William glanced up, startled. Before him stood a little girl, perhaps 6, in a brown frock sewn with loving care. Her pink gloves were slightly oversized, and a vivid pink flower adorned her curly hair, staying perfectly pinned despite the falling snow. "I'm sorry," William said softly, struck by the child's candor. "You remind me of my mommy when she longed for my daddy," the girl said simply. Before he came back from his work journey, she tilted her head, examining him with the clear focus only children possess. "Are you longing for someone?" William glanced past her and saw a woman in a beige coat standing about 20 feet away, watching with a mother's cautious eye, ready to intervene if needed. The woman gave an apologetic smile and started to approach, but William raised a gentle hand to signal it was okay. "What's your name, little one?" William asked, his voice warmer than it had been in months. "Clara," she said, stepping nearer. "Clara May Bennett. Mommy says the May part is for my great-grandmother, who was very wise." She paused, then added with a weight beyond her years, "I think you need some wisdom now." Despite his gloom, William felt his lips lift. Slightly. "Do you think so?" Clara nodded solemnly, then did something that completely shocked him. She began pulling off one of her pink gloves. "Clara, sweetie, keep your gloves on. It's cold." Her mother called gently from her spot, but Clara shook her head, removing the glove entirely. "Sometimes when people are sad, they forget the wonder," she explained to William. "My daddy taught me that." She stretched out her small, pale hand toward the falling snow, catching flakes in her palm. "See, each one is different. Daddy says God makes every one special, just like people." She looked at William with eyes gleaming with marvel. "But if you don't take time to really look, you miss the wonder." William stared at the child's outstretched hand, watching the intricate snowflakes land and vanish on her warm skin. When had he last truly seen snow? When had he last noticed anything beyond profits and quarterly reviews? "Would you like to try?" Clara asked, extending her other mittened hand toward him. Sometimes sharing the wonder helps. William looked at this little girl, a stranger who somehow saw straight into his soul with a clarity only children have. Slowly, he removed his leather glove and held his hand beside hers. Together, they watched the snowflakes fall. William found himself truly seeing them for the first time in decades. The delicate patterns, the perfect symmetry, the way each was genuinely unique. "My daddy says God sends snowflakes to remind us that beautiful things can be gentle, too," Clara said softly. "And even when everything looks gray and bleak, there's still wonder if you know where to look." William felt something thaw in his chest, something long iced over. "Your daddy sounds very wise," he said. "He is," Clara replied with complete confidence. "But he says the wisest thing he learned was from me." "What was that?" Clara looked up with the profound seriousness only young children can muster. "That being busy isn't the same as being important, and love isn't something you do when you have time. It's something you make time for." The words hit William like a soft avalanche. Here was a 6-year-old speaking the truth he'd dodged for years. He thought of Emily, of the wedding he'd almost treated as another task to fit into his schedule. "Clara," William said quietly, "how did you know I needed to hear that?" She shrugged with the glorious simplicity of childhood. "Because sad people often forget the wonder. And once you remember the wonder, you remember what's really important." William felt tears gathering in his eyes, but for the first time in years, they weren't from regret or frustration. They were tears of realization, of gratitude for this unexpected teacher in pink mittens and a flower crown. "Thank you, Clara May Bennett," he said softly. "I think you've just given me the most valuable business lesson I've ever received." Clara giggled, a sound like silver bells in the winter air. "It's not business advice, silly, it's life advice. Daddy says those are far more important." As Clara's mother approached, William stood from the bench. "Thank you," he told her. "Your daughter just taught me something I've been trying to learn for 20 years. The woman smiled warmly. "Clara has a gift for seeing what people need to hear. We were just out to view the Christmas lights, but she insisted on stopping. When she saw you," William reached into his wallet, but instead of money, he pulled out a business card. On the back, he wrote quickly, then handed it to Clara's mother. "I run a finance firm. If you ever need anything, please call me. I mean it." The woman looked at the card, her eyes widening slightly as she recognized the name. "Mr. Carter, we couldn't possibly." "It's not about what you can do," William said gently. "It's about what I need to do." Your daughter reminded me that the best investments are in people, in moments, in wonder we almost miss. He knelt to Clara's level. "Thank you for sharing the snowflakes, Clara May. I won't forget." Clara threw her arms around his neck in a sudden hug that nearly knocked him over with its pure, unreserved love. "Don't forget to call your someone," she whispered. "Tell them you're not too busy for wonder anymore." As William walked away through the falling snow, he pulled out his phone and dialed a number he should have called hours ago. "Emily, it's Dad. I know it's late, but can we have breakfast tomorrow? I want to hear all about your engagement, and I need to apologize for being too busy to see the wonder." Behind him, Clara waved goodbye with her pink glove, and William realized that sometimes the greatest business deals happen not in boardrooms, but in snowy parks. When a 6-year-old advisor in a floral crown shows you that love is the only wealth that truly counts. The snow continued to fall, each flake unique.